podcasts. I'm in Fort Dodge and just hanging out. They do have study rooms here, so it's not the great soundproof though, so I'm not going to yell and scream. Just going to maintain a calm, normal live stream here, and I don't know, just talk about whatever. Let's see, what's in the news. Um, I get my news mostly from Instagram, so there's a lot of bias from the accounts that I choose. Let's see, Los Alamos says morning. Good morning. Zapton, hello. Zapton, you're not mad that I didn't live stream two days ago when you asked me if I was going to, and I never gave you a direct answer. I hope I didn't offend you. Let's see, and I choose a lot of those red the Republican type style accounts, so I get a lot of that kind of news. Some of it's a little extreme for me though. It's a little annoying, so I don't like to pay close attention to the news in that regard. So yeah, I slept in the Walmart parking lot last night. It got down to, it said 34 degrees with a frost warning, and then I walked all the way to the library. I walked 2 miles, so that's partly why I'm doing this live stream, is just because I'm kind of letting out that energy still from the walk. And it was a walking stick walk. Let's see if I can bring this down. Using the 5-footers. And I gotta say, there's really no witnesses around. Oh, if I could straighten this up more, maybe I could straighten that up. Just, will it stand? Yeah, kinda stands. Because I did 2 miles of like tricep work, I gotta do some pulling exercises too, because I did 2 miles of push exercises. So now I gotta do some pulling too. So it's really nice to have 5-footers. And I need to measure the thickness because my other ones are thicker. My longer ones, I got 3 sizes. Okay, the 5, and then I got 5.5, and then I got 6 foot long. That's about as long as I can go. I would ideally, I'd ideally want 8 foot. But 8 foot is too long for a Ford Focus, so I gotta stick with the 6 as the longest. I'd kind of try to push a 7, but that's getting a little bit too much in the car. I don't have the space, so I settle for really thick 6s, and then to be able to get a nice full stretch, I just have to squat down, and then I can get the upper body stretch, which is nice. I'm kind of sweating. I should have brought a fan. I didn't expect to be so warm in here. It's maybe 40s now, and I'm indoors after walking 2 miles. I'm heading south. The traveling seems to be pretty smooth. Just a little hiccup in Mankato with the cops there, but that's odd. That's kind of unusual. But I have to admit that I felt very unprepared for that stop, camera-wise, especially when he pulled I don't know how you call it. This other cops have done it. The cop in Las Vegas did it. He told me to put my camera down. Just various cops have tried different means of separating me from my channel, or from my camera, and it's very annoying. So I'm trying different methods. All right, and I can't show it right now, but I took the air vents out of my my dashboard of my car, because I don't even use those air vents anyway. I only need the air vents to defrost the windshield. So those came out easy, and I tossed them in the trash to make room for cameras. Keep a GoPro in the air vent. That way it's easy access, and at a moment's notice, because when I was stopped in Mankato, all right, and then they had me get out of the car. I was a little hesitant. I didn't want to hesitate too long though, but I was like, man, I should be grabbing that Hero 8. But I folded it up. It's like it would have taken maybe 10 to 15 seconds to just unfold it and get it set up so I could have it displayed outside. And these cops were really tense. So I felt like if I was going to really hesitate, they're going to start grabbing me. So I was not prepared. Because I fold my GoPro 8 to get out of the way of these sticks. All right, when I'm not using the thing, it's got to be tucked in a particular spot, out of the way of everything. Particularly, I keep bumping the sticks with it, or bumping it with the sticks, so I have to fold it up pretty much. I keep it in the jaws, but it's just it's a hassle. In short notice, it's a hassle to free up, to set up, and I didn't feel like I had that time. So no masks. Some people are wearing them. So I pretty much just tried to stick with the camera, but I had to set it down. But now I'm thinking I want to get another GoPro, and I'm thinking I'm going for that $600 GoPro 10. Now there's none in Fort Dodge, so I have to keep looking south of here. I'm looking south of here now. None in the Walmart, none in the Target. In fact, the Target still has a GoPro 6, and they say they're phasing GoPro out because apparently they're not popular. Not popular in Iowa. But I mean, I've been through some Walmarts that have GoPro 10s. Some have even a Max. It's spotty, but it's amazing to see how some Walmart managers reason that the locals don't care for GoPro as much. Other places will buy the GoPros, they'll sell them, and then other places just the people flat out steal the GoPros because, my God, I've seen a broken GoPro package in one electronics section of Walmart. That was a surprise, but I mean, there's some bad areas out there. What? Co1 says, you ever thought about setting up a multi-dash? Nope, never thought about that. So you don't have to fumble with your camera. No. I just need to have my cameras more readily accessible. I've also thought about voice activation. If I get a GoPro 10, I'm looking for one. This Walmart has GoPro 8s, but I'm not going to sell for that. But I'm like, maybe keep one for voice activation. I've bought some glue, and I glued a magnet to a mount so I could have a magnetic mount. I think I would want to keep, if I can get a 10, I'll keep the 8 on a magnet mount at the front dashboard area. That way, when I get called out of my car by cops, which is really rare, but it's annoying when it happens. It's like almost getting struck by lightning. I want to be prepared for that. So I kind of have a magnet mount, so I could quickly turn on the 8 and just plop it on the roof of my car at least, because it's really, really annoying. You can never rely on the cop, the body cams, unless you get charged, which I probably should have pushed to get a criminal charge from them. I should have really pushed them, just so I could get the body cam. I mean, that's what it comes down to it. I mean, there should be some court rulings about that, about body cams, about, the cops lose the body cams if they don't charge you with anything. But if they want to charge you, if you can convince them to charge you, then you're going to get free body cams for the discovery process. Let's see. Oh, somebody says camera lens has haze on it. Yeah. Okay, I'll wipe it. It was so cold outside that I had like frost or a fog on this when I come in. So that might. What? Oh, that's okay. That might be better. Let's see. Trish, go for FOI. Requesting body cams are expensive. Will pay for itself. Yeah, a camera will pay for itself over requesting the body cams. You either got to get charged. You gotta get a criminal charge to get those body cams through the discovery process, or forget about it. Get your own video. It's and you want to be prepared for that. And I'm thinking, you know what? Voiced activation, you'd say, I don't have any GoPros on me, but I'd just be like, I think it's GoPro record. And I have the beep set, so it should beep when it turns on. So I'll just say, if I ever set that up and have a cop stop or whatever, and they pull me out, and I'll have to maybe, if there's a situation, I'll say GoPro record, and then listen for the beep. But I'm more reliant on hitting the button than anything. But I've recently started this beep. I turn on all the beeps for my GoPros, so I know when they turn off, because they'll beep when they turn off. It's helpful for them to know when they turn on, but also the software likes to shut off every so often, so sometimes it can make me aware that it's shutting off. And I figure, since the GoPro 8s or the 10s have a heating problem, we're getting into the winter time. It's not a big deal going through the winter anyway, so it's not a big deal. Let's see, Zapton says, if you use a hidden audio video recorder, always tell them you are recording some places. Both parties must be for. I will not be telling them anything. I don't care what state it is. Lendog, you mansplaining him, I'm sure he'll be okay. Hot says, I'm nervous, I'll shoot you with that GoPro holder. Yeah, that's I don't want to be reaching. See, that's why I keep it on the roof. I keep it always mounted in the upper area, because who carries a gun on the roof of their car? And I'll reach, if I wouldn't want to put it below, under my seat. That's something to be concerned about. That's why I have the GoPros in the air vents, in the dashboard air vents, because they could clearly see what I'm reaching for. Reaching for the dashboard, showing my hands, but also grabbing my GoPros. And I didn't bring it. I should have done that. Let's see. Chris says he said frog. All Brown says lens is better, but may fog again. It's still cold. Well, I'm indoors. But I made a necklace of one, just tied some string for my GoPro Max, and I keep that on the air vents for quick access. So if I get woken up, the first thing I want to do is go for the phone. I always want to know where the phone is, turn that on, and then as we're talking, GoPro necklace on, and just be ready. I don't need to turn it on right away, but I want to have that on ready for an easy push button turn on. I got it all set up for a quick turn on. So that's the plan going forward. When I get pulled out of my car, I want to have a necklace. I want to put the necklace on, and also the magnet mount, because I like to step out anyway. So have that magnet mount ready, and just set it on top of the car and hit play. I'm thinking the GoPro 8 should be the one that I keep voice activation for, just to have that available. I mean, I've never found a strong need to use it, except for that night in Mankato, that annoying night. Let's see. All Brown says you're looking clean cut, that the police may be leaving you alone. Is that how it works? I need a nice van and I need to look clean cut. There's a guy who showed me a video, gave me the link, where the cops stopped at his van and said that they heard screaming at his van, inside his van. Somebody reported saying that there was screaming coming from inside his van. So the cop like looked through the front windows and didn't see anything, I guess, and left him alone. But what a complaint! I mean, are cops gonna annoy that? Ignore that, because that's almost like saying shots. I heard a gunshot in the area. I hear screaming coming from a van. That's a good argument. That's a good complaint to make that cops really can't ignore. Or did the dispatch kind of ramp that up? Maybe the person said there was some kind of noise coming from the van, and I don't know what it is, but it's concerning. And then so the dispatcher ramps it up and says, "Oh, they're screaming from the van. Get over there." And so the cop is a little on edge about that. But when they moved closer to the van, you could see and hear a dog barking. So that screaming was really a dog. And that still turned into a call for screaming coming from inside a guy's van. And he recorded this. I forget the name of this guy. See, okay. I don't know. Chris, you are yet? Okay, Trish, disguise yourself as an old lady. Okay. Well, I'm getting the gray hairs. Chris, all these police stations don't know who you are, and they don't care. I'm not on the most wanted list or anything. It's not like they need to charge me with anything. There's no need to watch my movement. You look at like actual criminals that they follow. They're following their cell phone pings. Look at these crime channels. All these new crime channels coming out with amazing content, showing the person buying a shovel and lime or a bleach from the Walmart checkout. You could actually watch video of these criminals buying all the products the day before the murder, the cell phone pings, their search history on Google, like how to bury a body, those type of things are getting searched, and then these crime channels on YouTube are mentioning what's happening in the investigation, with the investigation that's resulting in finding the people. I mean, of course, the witnesses are relevant, but I mean, the new technology coming out, the house door cams, they're showing cams of, like, I'm getting close to this one girl who was murdered in Iowa. The illegal Mexican killed her in 2018, and they showed a door cam of him driving back and forth. And that was on somebody's door cam, and that was used as evidence, and a way to identify his car and his suspicious activity, who he was. He surrendered immediately after he was found, but he wasn't coming. He didn't come forward. They had to find him, and then he admitted he was the killer. I'm not being tracked like that, so I don't need to be. There's nothing to track me for. So, I mean, yeah, the cops act like maybe I could be doing something wrong in the future. They act like that on the ground, at least. There is that potential. Like, we need to know who you are in case something happens in the area. So maybe something is happening behind the scenes in that regard. They're straight up with me on the streets, at least. So you got to wonder what is happening behind the scenes, and they're not going to tell you. All I can do is identify them and get as much background from them as I can. Like, why are you bothering me? Did somebody call you? Who are you? How long have you worked here? And whatever else I can get from them. It's just kind of a back and forth investigation. But I mean, they insist it not be a back and forth investigation. and they will argue. I mean, wow, you want to find some people to argue with, you talk to some cops. They're paid to do that. They're like they're they're Mickey Mouse prosecutors. They're cheap prosecutors. They don't have to actually go through the process of the court procedures, and it's not like the prosecutors are very good at following court procedures themselves. But cops are much more loose with any court procedures. Like, you know, you let you have a judge there, and then allow the person to explain themselves after each question and stuff like that. Whereas cops will just talk right over you, and that's not how it's done in the courtroom. It's a more loose structure. But I mean, that's hearings. Those well, that's just it's not quite conversation. It's not. They're doing an investigation. They're asking questions, and you're going back and forth. But that conversation is kind of structured, but it's not very professional. What cops kind of need is courtroom experience to better have better more professional conversations. They run through like they're shooting bullets at you. They just run through their demands and inquiries and all that, and accusations. They just kind of run over you with a pile of nonsense, and don't really give you much time to respond. And that's not how it works in the courtroom. You got a chance to defend yourself. There's a due process there with the back and forth banter. But cops, they push through their agenda in a lot of ways. And it's really interesting with this Mankato stop. I was okay. What do we got here? Don't have. Hey, wow, followed you for many years. Good to see you healthy. Yeah, I'm able to do 7 pull-ups now. I'm up to about 7 pull-ups. Hope to get to 10 soon. It's been kind of a slow process. But going back and forth with Muhammad on this property issue, it was kind of an argument about trespassing. He says, "Well, you couldn't just park on somebody's driveway. All right, you can't just park on someone's driveway without their permission." And I'm like, well, I say in response, there's a difference between commercial and residential property. I mean, in commercial property, they invite you to come on, but not residential. They don't have signs inviting you saying there's a sale here, please come. But then he says, well, the store was closed. And then I got tripped up by that. I'm thinking, like, what kind of response there's definitely a response that's better than that would be a great response to, but the store is closed. Because that's taking it in a direction away from residential versus commercial property. And I would be like, then people have mentioned before, I would say, well, you got window shopping, and I also shouldn't have to, if it's a big commercial area, I shouldn't have to park in front of each individual business and just drive like a few feet over to the next business before I go in. I should be able to park in one business and then walk over to several other businesses. So, I mean, to make the argument that just because this business is closed, even though the Cub Foods was open for another half an hour, and also on the other side, the laundromat is open 24 hours. Yet I'm suspicious for parking in the closed business parking lot in between them. It's quite an argument that they make on the streets, but I mean that doesn't hold up in court. But the thing is, prosecutors would still bring that argument up. That's the thing; it wouldn't hold up, but the prosecutors would throw it out as an argument because they love mudslinging just as much as cops. It's just that the prosecutors make the same arguments as cops. It's just that they have to follow the court rules while doing it. But they don't do a good job following the court rules themselves, so you can kind of catch them on not following court rules like I did. Like I had my prosecutor sanctioned in Williston, North Dakota for not following a timely rule about responding to motions. You have 2 weeks, and she waited a month, and so I made a motion to sanction her, and the judge approved it. I don't know what happens after that. I know it probably, legal-wise, it may affect the judge's opinion, which may have been favorable for the outcome. But I mean, it was, even if I didn't sanction the prosecutor, just kind of let that slide twice, I think the case would have been still dropped without the sanctions. The sanctions are the cherry on the top against her. Against them, too. Two municipal judges in 2 different cities who also prosecute. They're also judges, held to an even higher standard, but maybe they're only held to that higher standard while they're a judge. As a prosecutor, the standards might not be as high. Let's see. Rand said, "You live, interesting life. I like your videos." I sit around a lot, so I don't really do much. I don't really have many friends to talk to. That's why I come online. Let's see. Code, just limit your travels to areas with district attorneys who had campaign contributions from George Soros. Where is that in Iowa? I don't know how you do that. I can barely, I'm struggling to find libraries and Walmarts, because sometimes they don't always show up on the Google Maps. Let's see, Charles Cuddles, 7, that's red. You remember your trip through Tillicum, Washington? People really hate my comments about Tillicum, Washington. Let's see what he says. Your crazy hometown. The town has mostly been dozed and turned to giant Amazon hub deal. Stay safe. Man, you look at my Tillicum videos, and people hate me for talking down. There's several cities that I've not had a favorable opinion about. Tillicum, Woodburn, Oregon, and East Palo Alto, California. Those videos, people just do not like what I say about them. I don't really have anything good to say about those areas. Those are bad areas. And people get offended by that, by me being critical. But I mean, there are good cities and there are bad cities, and I'll mention the elements that I look for a good city or a bad city. They're there. You look for rundown houses, of course. It's kind of obvious stuff. Trash, drug trash on the ground, like empty plastic baggies with white powder. You see any of those, the place is really bad. If you watch people throw their trash on the street, that's a bad sign. You look at the security measures taken, the fences used, the types of fences that they use, the security measures like at the Walmarts, how many things are stolen at the like how many broken packages are empty broken packages are in the Walmart, and what's their size? I mean, there's some bad areas where you'll see some big boxes like a stereo stolen, or just look to see if the socks and underwear are behind a glass case at the Walmart. That's a good sign. Yeah, needles. I've seen a lot of needles all on the Pacific coast in Oregon, and every so often I'll run into needles in Minnesota. I saw a pile of needles in Minnesota. I forget. It was a strange place. There's just somebody left a pile of needles. You look for signs. I watch the people, of course. Are they staring at me? Does anybody approach me to ask me for money? Because those are areas I tend to want to run from. And I'm heading to Des Moines. I don't know what to expect from Des Moines, but I'd like to spend some time in Des Moines. And I'm kind of waiting for the weather to cool down for that, because that'll put more people indoors at least. I I like to explore the cities when it's cooler weather, like 30s and 40s. That way people will be more indoors, and it makes it easier for me to get familiar with the layout of the area rather than having to look over my shoulder in case something bad happens. Uh, let's see. Co says, do they put the caps back on or were they exposed? Wow. I really haven't compared the caps to no caps. I assume the caps are on, but I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure. Let's see. Diabetics just throw their, yeah, there's a real diabetic problem. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of, and I look for the obesity too. There's a lot of obesity problems all over. Just it's really bad. There's nothing. All I can do is just look away. I'll just look away. Let's see. Want to run for King John wants to run for president? Sure, go for it, King John. Eat your broccoli. Nomad lifestyle is true freedom, not tied to support a building or a bunch of stuff. Yeah, I don't like going back to the same place every day. The same place, the same car, that's fine. The same place, that's not so fine. It's a big difference. I'm so used to finding trash. I actually think when I find needles with caps on, caps off is a huge no. I don't know. Like one that stood out to me is when I saw a little blood in the needle vial. I mean, I looked for that a little bit. Is there blood inside? That's something, but caps or no caps, I'm not sure about that. So I think some have been exposed, but yeah, it's all the same kind of needle. There's no special particular. There's needle. I've seen a box for the needles laying out in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Somebody just threw the box out on the side of the road. Let's see, Lynn. Where I live in Oregon, I know when I'm in a bad area by the empty beer and liquor bottles on the side of the road. Plastic, off-brand liquor, and cheap beer means trashy people. Yeah, the alcohol is a strong indicator as well. I was in Rapid City, South Dakota, around there. Actually, I think it was east of there. And I watched the Indians, like the Native Americans, drinking themselves stupid, passing out on the grass in some government building. The grass, and there was a guy mowing the lawn, but he just mowed around the sleeper. And then two young Native American guys I walked behind, just followed a little bit, not quite intentionally, but they were drinking. They were stumbling all over the road and off the sidewalk into the road and back, drunk. I was so surprised. They look young. They look like they should have been young and healthy, but they were stumbling and dropped this really sweet drink. It's like the Red Bull with alcohol in it. There's that's like seems to be a popular drink with them, and I don't doubt it's going on now. It's really sad to see that, and that's happening in South Dakota. And just learning about the history in Minnesota. These are the people. These are the same Native Americans who likely were living in Minnesota just a few generations before, like in the 1850s, 1860s, 1870s. Maybe not so much the 1870s, but by the time the 1870s came, I think they were pushed all out of Minnesota and into South Dakota, because there's the Spirit Lakes Massacre of 1857, which they're also known as the Great Lakes of Iowa, and that was 1857. And then I go over to New Ulm, Minnesota, not but 150 miles northeast, and there was a kind of a massacre. Then this is a pioneer, like the pioneers being massacred. The pioneers are kind of massacred in 1857, and then 1862 there was a massacre in New Ulm, and the pioneers were kind of massacred, but they fought back the Indians, and then gathered up a bunch of prisoners. And that was in August 1862 in New Ulm, ULM, and then that was what, before or during this, I forget the years for the Civil War. Lincoln approved of the hanging of 40 Native Americans. He approved of it. I mean, there was like a few hundred that were up for a hanging, but Lincoln gave clemency to the others and just settled on 40 Indians, the biggest hanging in America, all at once. They made the gallows big enough for all 40 at once, and they did that in Mankato. You could kind of see I had a police problem in Mankato from over-aggression, and Mankato might have a bit of a history of over-aggressive actions and behaviors, because they hanged 40 Indians in 1862. The war happened in August, and they were hanging 40 Indians by December, in the cold too. Imagine these Indians probably barely were wearing anything, and just they were probably looking forward to the hanging so they could stop freezing in the December weather. It's crazy. And this is in this area that this history occurred, and now I think these same Indians that kept getting pushed further west, and probably those are the types of Indians I was seeing. They just couldn't fight back the European advance because of Europeans just had an advantage. First of all, the motivation was there to make new technology, but the technology was there, but the motivation was there. I mean, and it's strange. The Indians were working on copper. They were making spear tips out of copper. So they had some knowledge of the benefits of copper. But they were not making they weren't doing blacksmithing. They weren't exactly blacksmiths with the copper. I don't think, because copper is very malleable, but I don't think they figured out quite how to melt the copper into useful items. They were more. It looked like go to the museums in North Minnesota, and you'll see that they were more. The spear tip points look more like they were being banged out, more than melted into a mold. All right, so their knowledge of the copper was there, but it wasn't quite advanced enough. Let's see. Thank you, Tom, for the $4.99. That'll help for gas. The Europeans, the Federalists, American coexisted for centuries. Okay, yep, there's some coexistence from time to time. Yep. Spidey, the Bible was made up by rich kings. Okay, I think I've read that type of comment in the past. Andy, are you heading out of that town soon? Yeah, I think so. I'll be leaving probably today, I think. I want to go south. But I want to explore more. I walked 2 miles from the Walmart to this library and explored. I want to take a different route back. I want to learn. I want to see this area. Nice slow pace. Bicycling would have been a struggle with this cold. And it's really nice with the walking sticks to check out. But I don't know if there's really nothing that stands out that I wanted to check out. I think there's the Des Moines River. Parks are usually kind of nice along the river. There's surprises, but I can't see everything either. So but I'm not in a big rush because it's supposed to be in the 70s in the next few days. So I'm not in a big rush to get south. I want things to be cool for Des Moines, but I think I want to spend at least a week. I'm going to try to spend a week in Des Moines and get familiar with that big city. Be one of the. It's been a while since I've hung out in a big city and just looked around everywhere, and I'd like to try to do that in Des Moines. Let's see. Charles says Montana, 1876. The combatants were warriors of the Sioux, North Cheyenne, Arapaho, battling men of the 7th. Oh, yeah, 1876. Yeah, just in that late 1800s area time frame. There's some real clashes that the Indians lost mostly. Kept getting pushed back. Yeah, Pig Gray says Sherlock Holmes. Yeah, I got two of these magnifying glasses, and I find that they're kind of useful in museums because there's some small print. There's things that are kind of interesting. I want to bring the magnifying glasses too. Get a better experience at museums bringing a magnifying glass. Let's see. Abraham freed the black people with the Bible to go north and work in the beginning. Yeah, and Abraham Lincoln approved the hanging of 40 Indians. He was so nice to the black people, but he was allowing the hanging of 40 Indians within what? August, September, October, November, December. Within 4 to 5 months after they were deemed guilty of war, they were hanged. It's really sad. Let's see. Big Ray, go down to the Florida Keys. That'll be in a few years. See, Co says you have PayPal. Yep, I got one. I think it's in the description, at least in the previous videos. Charles, Spidey since 2020 blacks held whites in captivity in the U.S., so go read a book. See, Pig Gray, Tahoe is beautiful. Tahoe, Nevada? Is that? I missed that city. I didn't get there, and it'll be a while. Let's see. Crystal clear. We don't make laws and we don't break them. We test them for freedom. We enforce our rights. We enforce our civil rights. We don't just assert our civil rights. Anthony Sunheim. Travis, have you ever been to Casper? No, I was a little too scared to go to Casper because the heat was really high. It was really too hot the time I was comparing Casper. I was like, Casper or the Rocky Mountains? The Rocky Mountains had a cooler weather for the week, so I was like, I'll just go in the Rocky Mountains, try to stay cool. But Casper would have been interesting. It'll be a long time before I check that out. I've been to the other side. I've been to the capital, Wyoming, Laramie. I've been to Laramie, and it was hot at the time, so I wasn't too thrilled about staying in the lowlands. I wanted to get into the highlands to get some relief, and I got relief. I was in July. Well, I was walking in snow in July. Instead of going to Casper, I saw a moose, and I was walking through snow in July in the Rocky Mountains. Let's see, Niners, but the huge Calder fire almost ruined it. Luckily, it didn't happen. A Calder fire. Yeah, I got some PayPal. I don't know. It's maybe I could show it. Maybe I could just go on to the Wi-Fi here on this phone at least. Let's see, I'm a patron. I could probably, yeah, this is just all the connections, so I'm connected. And I got where is that PayPal? I got it somewhere in here, let's see. Oh, there it is, okay. Now, I don't want to show the password. Oh, I have to put in the password. I might have forgotten it. All right. Okay. Yeah, I don't know my password. Let's see. What do we got? Let's see if I can. Wow. So it looks like Notes has changed a little bit. It's gotten kind of different there. I was using this Notes apps a lot when I was fighting Williston. I was making all kinds of notes with court cases and thoughts, how to write motions and all that. And now I've been ignoring it for weeks and weeks. Okay, there it is. Jeez, I think it's okay. Okay, I just gotta find that PayPal password. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, let's see if I can get that. Yeah, it has. It's probably been so long since I've been on PayPal that it's kicked me off. Oh, uh, all right. Seems to be having a little trouble there. You see the circle? Well, then I guess I just have to just see what happens. All right. Let's see. Casper's friendly, yeah, but the weather's not so friendly. I believe that the area, the people may be friendly, but how hot the climate isn't always hospitable. I hear the bumblebees have disappeared from Wyoming. Yeah, it's possible they're at a struggle. I was surprised when I was in Williston, North Dakota, going to pick grass. I seem to have stepped upon a bumblebee nest. I stepped in one grass spot, and all of a sudden there's all kinds of crazy buzzing, and then suddenly a few bumblebees came out from the ground. They never attacked me though. They were just making a large buzzing noise. If it was wasps, I would have been attacked. Let's see. All right, Anthony says keep up the good work. Mike Stevens says teapot. Yeah, it's still, this PayPal is now broken. Maybe I need to reset the app since it failed the first time. Okay, there we go. So whoops. Okay. All right, see if I can log. Nope. Oh, geez. Okay, then I gotta look again. Okay. All right. I think I know it's all right. Oh, then when it fails, okay, you gotta reset the app every time it fails. Okay. Okay, it looks like it's gonna go through there. But where could I show? Okay, yep. Oh, look at that. I got a lot of money in there. Look at that. Big money. I barely tap into it. All right, and then let's see. No. There it is. Okay. Yeah, and then see, do you want to contribute to all that money? I want to buy a new van at some point. So, but that's the address. It's got a pile of money in it. I'm so rich. Four digits. Bees disappearing because of chemtrails. Way up in the sky is affecting the bees on the ground. Starting to get chilly in Oklahoma. Oh, you want to take another look at the PayPal? That's me. Can I put a picture? So that's the PayPal. Is it backwards? I don't. Actually, it looks backwards when I'm looking at it, so it probably looks backwards on camera. Could I put a picture? Yeah, I don't know. Well, things are settling down now. I think had the big walk. Now I can relax. I'm not sweating as much, so now it's good. Let's see. Co says I was talking to this gentleman named Monty, and he said he was a descendant of a slave, and I said Abraham Lincoln founded the RS. And he said you said a mouthful with that. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of decisions that Lincoln made that are being conveniently ignored now. And I wouldn't have known. They don't teach it in school, at least, that Lincoln approved the hanging of 40 Indians in Mankato, Minnesota in 1862. You don't hear about that, but I mean he personally knew about that. Let's see. Chris says I got plenty of flying insects on my windshield of my 18-wheeler. Yeah, the insects aren't such a problem anymore now. Oh, it's so nice to be able to walk around or relax in the woods without being assaulted by the mosquitoes. Let's see. Charles Lincoln didn't care about chattel. He was working for the shadow government. Let's see. Yeah, the chemtrails would equal acid rain. That's true, Charles. That's a good comparison there. It's more of a alarming like phrase or whatever to say acid rain compared to chemtrails. Acid rain was a big deal back in like the 1980s. I didn't really hear about chemtrails as much as people joking about acid rain. But now it's more chemtrails. And people may forget that it is associated with acid rain too. See, Coe says, as far as I'm concerned, the Civil War was fought by direct descendants of the Revolutionary War. The natives fought the state rights, the feds won. Yeah, there's a history with the combats, and it's amazing how we've held off having any serious wars in the local areas for so long. Technology is probably a lot of the reason why the wars aren't as frequent now with the communication and all that. I mean the way that works, it's pretty convenient. There's inflammatory people that are being suppressed on the social media. People who incite war are being kind of suppressed and having a difficult time. Somebody showed me some guy on Twitter. He was kicked off of YouTube, and he's like, he had a meeting in St. Cloud, Minnesota, and there was hundreds of people there, and the guy was charging $20 a person to visit, to listen to him, and he had like $20 times hundreds of people. It's pretty amazing. This guy makes a lot of money with like meetings, like doing seminars. Let's see. I don't know if I can. Okay. There we go. No. Scott McKay? Is that? You got Scott McKay right there, the name. McKay. All I see is McKay for some reason. Okay, a patriot named Scott McKay. Okay, yeah, Scott McKay. Yeah, it's just backwards. He had hundreds of people. They all paid $20 in St. Cloud, Minnesota, like within the last week or so, to listen to him. And he doesn't have a YouTube channel, but he's got people who like post what he says on, I don't know, whatever his website. He makes videos, and maybe he only can post to his website. Still has access to Twitter, but the stuff he talks about is very Alex Jones-like, talking about how he's got contact at Washington, who's got this insider information, and just in generalizations. He talks like kind of an evangelist for anti-government evangelist, I would say. I would call him that. Scam artist, yeah. That's Trish. That's okay. If you're listening there, I would call it that. But they have a way of talking to try to entertain and then make people feel like they're a part of something. But it's just so general. Saying you got contacts in Washington, that's a classic line. I got a contact in Washington, who's got the inside scoop. Let's see. We need open discussions. The problem is that we have lost the art of listening with an open ear to things we don't like. So provocateurs are given the power. Yeah, like Scott McKay. Discerning your own opinion is crucial. I mean, it's great to want to talk about freedom, and if people really listen to that style of talk, people really listen to, like, if I talk like that, maybe I would get a larger audience, but I don't really like being so generalized and oh, we need to defend our Fourth Amendment rights for freedom because this can affect our children and children's children, and and there's enemies who want to see us be repressed, so we must hold strong against these people and prosper together. The only way we can like work against them is as together as a unit. There's a lot of that talk, and people have really gotten good at that style of talk. Let's vote harder. There you go. Let's see, Darren. I'm sick of these young, immature presidents. We need some centenarians in office. Is that it? That's the age. We need older, experienced people. I mean, there is the age limitation at 26 years old to enter Congress. I don't know. It's something with the type of knowledge that they acquire. The people need to know what's going on in the country. Be aware. It's not always about age. Some people work their lives in a very limited sector and have such a narrow view of the world that they're not going to make the best decisions for people as a whole. That's why sociology is pretty helpful to get familiar with what's going on in the culture. I mean, but there's more than just learning the habits of groups of people. I mean, you also have this trade issues, economics issues, and environmental issues. But no strong environmentalist has ever been in a high position of leadership or representation. You don't call them leaders, you call them representatives. Bill, do you still eat catfish? Yep. So let's see, what else is there? Yeah, I brought my teapot. I actually found a good spot to pick some grass. On the way back, I'm going to stop. But I've been carrying this thing in my backpack for so long that I broke the handle. I broke the spout area. So now it's just the shell of a teapot. But I mean, it's transportable at least. I try to keep it on me as much as I can. And yeah, it's all cleaned out, ready to go. Just need to fill it up with some grass. Trying to stay on top of that. I'm still making those grass teas whenever I can, because they make my teeth feel good. All right, there's something in that nutrition. Every so often I'll find, like around this north of here, I was finding more catnip. So I was picking more catnip. Catnip improves the taste. It's more of a minty taste, so it's nice. Let's see, Still says, what do you think about the shot? I'm not getting the shot. Let's see, Chad, abolish the electoral, one of those, okay. Co-philanthropy needs to come back into style for American civics, not forced charity, not even bother with, I mean, save your money. You don't need to give it to people. A lot of people could just use knowledge, like, have grass teas and walk with walking sticks. I mean, you can't beat that lifestyle. That's what I would promote. And it's not, I mean, in the desert, people can't really find sticks for walking sticks. You can't really use cactuses for walking sticks. But I mean, that's a way to get around. It really takes the pressure off. It takes pressure off my knees and my hips, so I can go longer distances on foot. And people are so reliant in their cars. It's incredible. I mean, the people who are so much more reliant on vehicles than me get hit harder by the gas price increases. I walked 2 miles to get to this library, and the no wear and tear on the car. I left it at Walmart. I just, whatever. I walked it, but whereas I think most people would probably drive. But I need the exercise. I gotta keep the blood pumping because I'm getting older. I need to try to fight death. Like death is approaching. So keeping more active has really held back like problems. I've got fewer problems. I got more like joint problems now than I do in the chest area. And I'd rather have joint problems than from exercise than chest problems from sitting hunched over my steering wheel in my car too much. Let's see. Taxes go to war primarily. That's not philanthropic. Yeah, the war issues are always going to be there. There's always going to be conflict. There's people thinking about it, and there's people doing it. Sometimes there's people who are perfectly happy just the way things are, but a lot of people are not. The Lindog, it's fall mushroom season in the Pacific. Yeah, I saw hedgehog is free food. I saw a weird mushroom the other day. It was too dark in the evening time to record it, but man, that was a weird mushroom in Minnesota. I should have recorded it, but yeah, I just needed the light. Let's see, Aaron says, Travis for Prez 2024. Everyone gets a pot of grass tea and 2 walking sticks. Absolutely. That would be the clunkers, cash for clunkers plan that Obama had. I would encourage people, they're talking about electric cars, but that's just encouraging laziness. Really, you need to get more of a full body experience with walking. Not just use your feet, use your hands too. You should be saying after a nice walk, boy, my hands are tired from a nice long walk. That's what you should be saying. That's what I say. After 2 miles, I gotta go 2 miles back. Man, my hands are tired from my walk today. How was that? It's more. It's like swimming on land. It's more of a full body exercise. Use it up, wear it out, make it do or do without. That's a good slogan. See, Lindog, morels are spring mushrooms. Oh, cool hair tie or rubber bands on your finger thumbnails. Try to open up your hand balance. Okay. Let me just say that with this walking stick, now this is too thin. I don't want to carve into it much. But like with the Indian clubs, they'll make it'll be shorter, and then they have a little bulb at the top. I don't need a bulb at the top, but I would make it more narrow. I was thinking about getting a thicker walking stick and then whittling down to about here. All right, making this more narrow and then stop here, maybe flange it, so that when I'm pushing down, I'm pushing on a wider portion of the walking stick. It kind of limits where I grip, but then that would take pressure off of these fingers because I'm constantly pushing down and I'm twisting my fingers. But if I had like a narrow handle and then a flange, then I'd just be pushing on the butt of my outside hand here instead. That's something I've been thinking about. That's a carving project to think about. But you need to start out with a thicker stick first. And I got thicker sticks. That's something to work with. See, Ron said he's 72, played some professional football for 16 years. Don't worry about aches. What happened with Williston? Yeah, Williston is no longer an issue. It's just something I complain about for having to deal with. It's something I'll never forget about having to deal with for 11 months. I limited my traveling. I limited exploration. I was put under a lot of stress, and it was stress that rose and fell. There were times where I thought, okay, this is going to be done. And then either the prosecutor or even the judge ramped up the pressure at times. When I thought things were going to cool off, they ramp up the pressure, and it's crazy. And what happened with Williston after this? during the time that I was fighting them, they got a digital forensics cop. All right, I think they felt the need. Maybe I inspired it, but it happened during the time I was fighting them. They hired a digital forensics cop so they could search people's electronics even more often now. I think this city, it's an oil city. They ramp up their security when they think that they're being challenged. They ramp up. They bolster their enforcements even more. They don't listen to the locals, because the oil is the locals. The underground oil pays for their wages more than anybody above ground. So that's their tax base, is the oil. And when they feel threatened, when they think that they're getting like they feel like somebody's taking over, somebody's asserting their rights too much or something, that they just ramp up their campaign even more, because that's an oil city. Let's see, Lindog, my arms are sore when I ski uphill. Yeah, that's a good exercise. If your elbow gets tight, if your elbow gets painful though, you gotta do more pull-ups. That's the solution. That pull-ups take away tennis elbow. It's pretty cool. And you can do pull-ups, well, not with ski poles, but with some nice sticks. See, Charles says, walk softly and carry a big stick. Yeah, somebody commented when I walked by them, they said beat sticks. Some people have commented and said that they like my sticks. So one guy said I had beat sticks, and I'm like, yeah, it's multi-use. Aaron, you ever see Michael Picard's videos? I'm not familiar. It's funny, huh? Maybe I can screenshot that. I'll look at it later. I screenshotted it. Let's see that suggestion. Ray's, hello Travis. I hope you're having a blessed day and people are not violating your rights. It's sad that it's hard to do free travel nowadays without getting messed with by cops. It's rare. It doesn't happen every day, but they're out there. There's a tyrant in every town. All right. It's just a matter of whether you run into them or not. And I know cops stop at my car more often than I'm actually there. So having some kind of surveillance would be nice. And GoPro has come out with some kind of motion sensor, but the camera has to get moved. It can't pick up an image that's moving in front of it. I had a trail cam in my car, but when I got to Albuquerque, I turned it on, faced the side of my car, the passenger side, out, and my car got broken into because I think somebody peeked in my car, saw that he was being recorded, because I did have it set up, and then broke in through the sunroof and took that, amongst a lot of other stuff, a few $100s worth of stuff in Albuquerque. It was, I think that person was upset that he got his face recorded, but also he's just a straight up criminal too, to do that. I mean, it's not that bad of a deal to be recorded peeking in my car, but if you're a criminal, then yeah, he's taking the evidence. Let's see, Alien Prepper. Picard is funny. He should troll the liberals too. All right. And you can see this is out of order. It says, that sign right there says out of order. I was kind of waiting on a librarian to bother me, but when I walked to the desk and asked about study rooms, she said that she pointed to this area, so I assume that it's not so much out of order. All right, let's see. We got zapped and carved peace signs and flowers into your... maybe that will put people at ease. I'm thinking that I could rib the walking stick so I have better grip, because I slip very easily. My hand grip slips when I want to do pull-ups. So I was thinking about something to improve the grip. Maybe some flower carvings can improve that grip. I don't know. Alien says nothing safe in that town. Aaron says, Seb, that's a good haul. Well deserved though. He gets arrested for nothing. A good haul. Well, all right, it's been over an hour. I'm cooled down. I'm going to look at some stuff on the internet here. Let's see. And Picard does troll liberals. Okay. Yeah, I have to check out Picard. All right, thanks for coming, and I'm going to stop this.